welcome to Fishing on Northwest. My name is Tommy Donlin.
What do you think, Tommy? It's the best. There you go.
I was not going to make one.
Living Northwest wild. Hunting, fishing is my kind of style. I float the Wainuchi when it gets hot. I'm proud of all the things that I've got.
Hello and welcome to Fish on Northwest. Wayne England and yes, Tommy Donlin back here in studio live. It's Thursday, bringing you another successful show is the goal.
That's right.
Here.
Always.
So, hey, I want to welcome everybody to the program. We got a great show lined up once again, as we do each and every week. If it's your first time joining us here, take some time, jump on over to our webpage, www.fishonnw.com. There you're going to find some insightful bits of information, lots of how-to DIYs, and of course, video links to all of our previous information and, solid videos and instructional stuff as well. Also, take advantage of the coupon codes, Fish Hunt NW10 for Phelps game calls. You want to take advantage of Phelps game calls year-round, 10% off all the time. And of course, at Edge Rods, FHN20 at checkout, you're going to save 20% on all Edge Rods for the entire year if they're not already attached to another reduced pricing or special. So, with that, Tommy, any time this last week or since last weekend, did you get out any fishing or?
No, just working. Just working. Lots of work.
We had opportunity Monday.
Yeah, I saw that.
As recent as this past Monday, get down there on the Columbia because, Buoy 10 is still happening. And there's quite a bit of fish around, though. Some of the Chinook is tapering off a bit.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about numbers in that regard here in a little bit as far as what's going on in Bonneville area. But for Buoy 10, we had a great outing. Went down, jumped in with Kyle Bushelman, Willamette Valley Outfitters, who we had on the show last week.
Yeah.
Longtime buddy Scott Call, owner and partner at Brad's Killer Fishing Gear. And we ran all Brad's gear. And for the most part, and put a whooping on the Coho.
Yeah, you guys had a Coho rodeo.
It was a great morning to early afternoon, and Kyle's got that fishery dialed and does very well, and we did very well. We got some great content. That being said, fishing and filming and grabbing quality content and showing you how it all comes together is one thing. Taking time for the instructional side of it that we really love to do, like really drill down on the gear specifics, bumper length, leader length, all that stuff. We did all that, man. It was fantastic. We had some audio issues and we had some equipment, whatever. We're out there on the water. You're trying to do your thing.
Yep. It is what it is.
So we do have some great content to look at later tonight here in the show, just making you aware that we couldn't capitalize on all of that. Not to worry. I've already talked to Scott. Bribed him, convinced him. He's coming up here next week. He's going to join you and I in studio. We're getting in the bait lab finally because we're ready to go. We're going to break it down, man. The Brad's gear, what we were using, exactly how we tied it up, why the Evolution Flasher is so dynamic and the bungee and how it works so well. We're going to get into all that and really as a great follow-up to tonight's content. Part 2 of that's going to be next week. So you're going to want to tune in to see that, because we're really going to get you set up for success.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. And we got a number of other fisheries that are going on well, too. Coho fishing in Puget Sound.
It's picking up, and they're getting bigger, by the way.
I saw some photos today.
Yeah.
Social media is great to keep you kind of in the loop. What's going on? And there was some fantastic size Coho coming out of Area 10.
There is. And there's no shortage of ocean opportunity either.
Absolutely.
Even though salmon's been shut down. I heard we're going to get one day out of Area 1 and 2 on a Wednesday, September 4th. I don't know what that's about for salmon, but tuna's still going strong.
Yep.
We got the best sea surface temperature chart shot last night that we've gotten all year. You're going to know exactly where the break is and where all those tuna are lined up.
Perfect. Yeah. Lots of opportunity out there. It's going to just keep on getting better as we move towards the fall. And we can't express that enough. And we'll talk about these numbers over Bonneville here in a little bit. Before we get too far along, though, of course, as we do each and every week, want to run down the show with what's going on tonight. Bring it back to the show. It's been a while. Toby Wyatt, real-time fishing. Fall Chinook fishing in Idaho, Tommy, on the Clearwater. It's a great opportunity. We're going to break it all down. Also, Toby will stick around to really get into the details, how to get it done and find success on Idaho's Clearwater. Then the Lower Columbia Buoy 10 FHN on the water with Kyle Bushelman, Willamette Valley Outfitters LLC, and of course Scott Call at Brad's Killer Fishing Gear. Just spoke about that. We're bringing that to you. Part 2 of that. Great coho fishing, great takedowns and fish fights. Technical content, as mentioned, coming next week. So you want to be sure to follow us up next week for that. We're going to really bring it to you. This one has your and my interest, Tommy. WDFW Dr. Donny Martorello. I'm going to butcher that every time. Chief Scientist for the Wildlife Program. CWD, it's here, and it's a problem. We'll explain. CWD rule changes and implementation that's coming here September 1. Dr. Martorello will, he's here, and he's going to help us gain understanding of the rules and exactly what the requirements are if you plan to hunt in any of those GMUs that we will discuss as we get through the content moving forward. So don't go anywhere. Jumping out for a quick break. Stick around, because after the break, Toby Wyatt, real-time fishing and Chinook fishing in Idaho. This you're going to want to hear. After the break, right here, Fish on Northwest. Defiance Marine is the one-stop shop for the Pacific Northwest angler. Defiance Marine guarantees the best price on a new and best service on a repower for your current boat. Defiance Marine is a Honda Premier dealership and one of the largest on the West Coast. Defiance Marine is a boat dealer who proudly sells Defiance, Allied, and Arima boats. All boats are built by West Coast fishermen for West Coast fishermen. Defiance Marine has all your boating needs to help you get out on the water.
If you're looking for the best fishing rods in the world, you really do need to take a look at the Edge rods. I designed and built new machinery, and I think this new machinery has enabled us to build blanks like no other company can build without this equipment. There is no other rods in the world that are as good as these rods. You owe it to yourself to take a good look at them.
For more than 90 years, you've entrusted one brand to guide you towards living the lifestyle you've always dreamed of. Now you can entrust affiliated Better Homes and Gardens real estate professionals to interpret your needs and help you find the home in which to live your dreams through every stage of your home buying or selling process. And through every stage of your life, there's Better Homes and Gardens real estate. Expect better.
All right, welcome back here to the program. Dwayne England, Tommy Donlin, and first guest joining us here on tonight's show, Toby Wyatt, Real-Time Fishing, www.realtimefishing.com. It's been a bit, Toby. Welcome back to the program. Glad to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we're going to talk a little fall Chinook fishing there in your backyard, buddy, because let's face it, it's kind of going off. Based on the run timing, in your location, though, you know, when I talk to you, I would think that you're fishing on some of the Summer Kings that have finally found their way up that way. But you said these are actually fall Chinook already there in Idaho.
Yeah, I asked Chris Donnelly the same question, and he told me that they're just early falls, and they like to pile up in the cold water coming out of the Clearwater. So,
Gotcha.
You know, even though the counts at Lower Granite Dam may be kind of dismal, you know, they just pile in there, and you know we're allowed to fish on them.
Toby, as much as I would love to talk tuna with you, tuna in Cabo, tuna in Ilwaco, Dwayne is forcing me tonight to talk
Chinook,
just Chinook fishing.
That's
so right. I will leave that for a different time, buddy. But hey, there's a ton of fish that have already gone over the Bonneville Dam. We're looking at just shy of 140,000 already. Yesterday, we had 28,000 go over. Are you guys getting a lot of fish right now? What would you say about the size of those fish? What are you seeing?
Well, okay, it opened, and they were not doing any broodstock collection at Lower Granite Dam prior to that. So August 18th, there was all these kings that they hadn't seen any gear, they hadn't seen anything. They're just early fish. And man, they were really stacked in there good for about 3 days. The first day I had 14 takedowns, only landed 4, but they were all, mid 20s.
Oh,
And
wow.
very nice fish.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
nice. We're predicted early season predictions were 24,000 kings to cross Lower Granite Dam, but now they're bumping it up to 34,000 kings. They're almost done collecting broodstock at Lower Granite Dam, so more of the fish that are crossing the dam will actually make it into that confluence area. And until they start to ramp off flows in the Clearwater, right now they're releasing a mass amount of water out of Dvorak to cool the whole river system to aid in smolt migration. So they're going to start ramping that down later in September, and then the kings will start to head upriver. But for now, it makes a heck of a holding spot and a heck of a fishing hole right here and at the confluence, Lewiston, Clarkston.
Yeah, so talk about that a little bit. You got mixing water there as the Clearwater flows into the Snake River. You got the differences in temperature change. That's usually very conducive, as you kind of expressed, for fish to dip in and hold. Is this kind of a melting pot there? Are these Snake River fish and Clearwater fish, hatchery and wild, all kind of melding around in that same general area for now?
Yeah. And they're we could keep 3. It's a huge limit. And it doesn't matter if they're wild or hatchery. It's like unlimited jack. We could keep 2 coho and 2 steelhead. We sell it as the ultimate harvest opportunity. And even though these fish are 400 miles from the ocean, they migrated here in a rather quick time. So these fish are all a great table fare. It's not till October, November that starts to change.
Gotcha. Now those fish are, as long as you're catching them above that boundary of the confluence, you have those pretty lucrative limits. But if you're below that in the actual Snake River, are we subjected to Washington State rules of 1 fish?
Nope, 3 fish.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
Okay, interesting. Gotcha.
Well, that's a good deal.
Wild or hatchery.
Hey, so Toby, that Clearwater, that's a pretty big piece of water there. As that season progresses, is it pretty much always a powerboat game down in the lower river, or is there opportunity up above and in the upper river with drift boat?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of people floating, a ton of fly anglers on the bank. It's very accessible river. It has a road on mostly both sides of it, and you can float it. There's a ton of ramps, and they're all strategically placed for float boats. And I don't know if you saw the predictions for that, but we're looking at 30,000 B-run steelhead to come to the Clearwater, the best run in 15 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we're going to definitely try to talk about that a little bit next segment before you get out of here. So if you're moving upriver, these guys and gals that are rafting it, drift boat, what have you, down below is a little bit of obviously more of a troll fishery, and we'll break down into the gear specifics on that here in a minute. But upriver, what's some of your options? I mean, bobber and egg, back bouncing eggs, typical Chinook presentation.
Yeah, for all the deep holes will be chock full of Chinook, big time.
Yeah,
you can hover fish. You can. Most of us around here, we just kind of drift pencil lead through there with balls of eggs, just like you would for steelhead. And we do that because it allows multiple boats to get in and get out, and kind of the merry-go-round effect there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you get sick of catching the kings, or the king bite slows up, then you just drift on down the river, hitting the riffles and the shallower stuff where the steelhead are.
Gotcha. All right. I'll tell you what, we're going to have you hold on. Going to jump out for a quick break. We come back. We want to kind of drill down on the specifics on your lower river troll fishery, how you do that presentation, and hopefully we can help some folks find success. So don't go anywhere. Much more to get to and through with Toby Wyatt, Real Time Fishing, here right after the break. Fish on Northwest. Allied the new leader in heavy gauge aluminum boats. Allied boats have standard reverse chine and lifting rakes to help you plane faster and run at lower RPMs. Allied boats have several models to choose from, ranging from a 19-foot Mustang all the way up to a 32-foot Liberator. So regardless of what type of heavy gauge aluminum boats you are looking for, Allied Boats will have it for you. Contact Allied Boats today to learn more about these incredible fishing machines.
Sportco, an outdoor emporium, is the largest local outfitter in the Northwest since 1975, providing thousands of people affordable outdoor gear. This summer, make your next outdoor adventure more affordable by shopping at our warehouse-style pricing. We are a local Scotty dealer, offering sales, service, and repair. Located in Fife and Seattle, come visit us today. The outdoors await you.
All right, welcome back here to the program. Toby Wyatt, Real-Time Fishing, still hanging on for us, thankfully. Toby, we're talking about that Clearwater Fall Chinook fishery and opportunity. Now, is this a typical early morning kind of a fishery? You got to get there and, first light bite kind of an action, or does it really matter? Can you get them throughout the morning and the afternoon?
For sure, morning is best, but it does seem like you have your, a 2 o'clock bite and a 10 o'clock bite, and then there, might be a 7 o'clock bite. But yeah, your morning's money. You don't want to miss that.
Sure.
Hey Toby, so the Dwarf Shack Dam, and when I say that, I always think Dork Shack. I'm sure that mistake's been made before, but I actually said it correctly.
Yeah, correct.
How about that? Hey, it's on the North Fork of the Clearwater, and so historically, you look at when they increase flows from that dam, it happens around August. Are they still doing that? And then what does that really do to the fishing for you guys?
Well, so when they're releasing that water, it creates this killer thermal barrier there, because the water coming out of the Clearwater is like 50 degrees, and the water coming out of the Snake is like 72. So the fish don't want to move into that warm water until it cools down. So they could stage there and hold there for as long as a month. And they will start ramping down those Clearwater flows. And then the Snake will start cooling down as the days and nights cool down. And then, eventually those fish take off upriver.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah. Kind of creating a great opportunity, as you've expressed here a couple of times now. So let's talk about rigging for success. For folks, maybe they fish it, they struggle, or going to head over there for the first time, maybe here from the west side, want to go give that a try, hearing these numbers of fish that are staged up there. Talk about the troll fishery. We drop and lead, how long a bumper, 360 flasher, leader length, and what are we dragging? Spinners, brads, cut plugs. Kind of give us the rundown of what's successful.
I usually start the morning off with all super baits, and I go a 20-inch bumper, a 30-inch leader. That's my start. And any of your glow colors, hot lava, Johnny lava, rotten banana, anything that's got a little glow to it. And I'll stick with that. Sometimes I never take it off. I just roll it on opening day. I rolled that all day long. But once the sun comes up and the water is fairly clear, I usually don't change my bumper length, but I do a lot of times extend my leaders out to about 36. And that's on the super baits. Now, if I put spinners on, which I like to do when the sun comes up, and I'll stick with a 30-inch leader, and it's all your standard stuff, same stuff you're doing downriver, buoy 10, all that. The colors are different, and these fish are further upriver, so they do key in more on scent. So you want to have quite a few different mixes going on, because some days they just bite just a standard plain old, some days it's anise, some days it's garlic. You can run shrimp spinners, and usually if you run shrimp spinners, you're more likely to get steelhead and kings.
Sure.
And there's a lot of guys that spot lock or anchor up and they bobber fish, and they're primarily targeting the steelhead. And they just have shrimp on there, but they catch a lot of salmon too. And then you can just like the Deschutes, there's a killer hover fishery here.
Oh yeah.
And it's a really good hover fishery.
Interesting.
Last year, the first day that I hover fished, I caught 13, and I put a triple on Facebook, and it was really cool.
That's awesome.
Sometimes that hover bites. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it sounds like a lot of fun. Hey, we're going to be up against a break here, so we're going to move this along. Real briefly before we get out of here, talk about the opportunity coming this October for that bee run of steelhead. You mentioned 30 or 32,000 coming back. Sounds like a pretty good opportunity to get over there and schedule in with you and get some steelhead action.
Yeah, for sure. The majority of that bulk of the steelhead will pass through the lower Clearwater in October, and we'll fish them all the way until March. And
Wow.
It's hard to pinpoint the best times, but I do know the biggest fish we always catch come in October. The numbers, are usually increased later in the year, but it gets deathly cold here.
Sure.
And the fight kind of goes out of the fish and they darken up. But we're still, it's primarily a side drifting river, a lot of bobber dogging, and quite a bit of plug pulling too. So
Nice.
in fact, this early October, I'll probably spend more times, pulling wigglers and maglips, and then I'll spend more time doing that than anything else for sure.
Well, you got a pretty good crew running the river for you, working for you as an outfitter, and plenty of opportunity, lots of seats to fill. So folks can get a hold of you at www.realtimefishing.com. Toby, my friend, always a pleasure, and looking forward to hopefully getting over there and spending some time with you on the water.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
Have a good one.
All right. Toby Wyatt, Real Time Fishing. Again, www.realtimefishing.com. Look him up. Schedule a trip over there. You will not be disappointed, whether it's salmon or steelhead or a combination of both, Tommy. So
That's right.
Jumping out for a quick break. We come back, get to sit back and enjoy some takedowns and fish fights. Little buoy 10 action. Coho rodeo, as a lot would refer to it. Kyle Bushelman, Scott Call, the gang. And we're down there whacking and stacking. I think you'll enjoy this. After the break, right here, Fish on Northwest.
Support from Northwest Sportsmen make Federal Ammunition the world's leading ammunition manufacturer. Federal uses the industry's finest materials, giving you reliable ammunition that delivers superb accuracy and optimum performance. Northwest hunters rely on Sportco to provide the best selection and prices in the Northwest since 1985. Sportco and Outdoor Emporium in Fife and Seattle. Your journey begins here.
Yep, for sure. Oh yeah, big fish. Yeah, buddy. Nice fish. Oh, beauty. Gorgeous fish.
Bobby's on the board.
We got a good one.
Oh yeah. Oh. No, geez, come on.
Nice fish. Nice fish.
You haven't been here, but you know it. You've heard the sounds, smelt the air, and you've seen where your heart lands, if not yet. You haven't been here, but you've longed for a destination near or far, where time spent with loved ones and friends will go into the night and last in memories for a lifetime. You haven't been here, but you're on your way to a place not far. ExploreTheDalles.com.
New days, new beginnings, new friends, new loves, new dreams, new goals, new scenery, new job. No matter what the next chapter holds, Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate will be there to help you find the new that's right for your lifestyle at any stage of your life. Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. Expect better.
Nice.
Almost. Come on. It's a wild fish, but look at, we got the that rotten banana has been on fire.
It was nice having that release on that.
Look at that. Yeah.
Going around the boat, you got these barbless hooks, just having that release on that. Kept it nice and tight.
No, we lost one hook in the net, but that's the one nice thing about barbless hooks. And then
yep.
There you go.
Well, thank you, my man.
Yeah, there you are.
Appreciate it.
Quick.
That was quick.
Two days ago, I caught 3/4 of a fish.
Yeah, really?
I had 2 of them out.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta put that on there. All right, let's get that middle rod out and push that head out. Oh, there you go.
There he is.
Oh yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, he's ripping.
There's a double right here, guys. Right here. How about We're on. Double going, Scotty. He's got it. Wait on your fish. Yeah. Hey there, furry fellow. Look at fellow. Nice. Figured when it took off too long. Yeah, buddy. He's just not doing anything, just like the last one. Got it. Second net. Away.
Out there. Thank you. That came right up to the boat.
Allied, the new leader in heavy gauge aluminum boats. Allied boats have standard reverse chine and lifting rakes to help you plane faster and run at lower RPMs. Allied boats have several models to choose from, ranging from a 19-foot Mustang all the way up to a 32-foot Liberator. So regardless of what type of heavy gauge aluminum boats you are looking for, Allied Boats will have it for you. Contact Allied Boats today to learn more about these incredible fishing machines.
Hey guys, I'm Big Mike. Come on down to the Edge Pro Shop and see me. We've got all the best brands under one roof. We've got Hawken, Procure, Short Bass, Pro Troll, Yakima Bait, Get 'em Dry Jigs, Northwest Bait Scent, Daiwa Reels, North Fork Lures, North Wild, Brad's, Superfly, Rocky Mountain Tackle, and of course, the greatest rods ever built, Edge rods.
Fish, 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 fish.
Alright, so this was on the release, not no.
That was the silent takedown because I put this from something.
Look at that. Look all the way up there. All the way up there. Yeah, real piece coming out.
Go? Get some action? Yeah, big old cow. Yeah, that is. Oh yeah, baby. It is a good one. Yeah.
You know what? Banana is the most consistent.
It's a pretty.
It is. It's the most consistent one. Look at that. Cool.
It's a beauty.
Nice fish.
Nice.
like it.
And that release when it ran out, you see how far that thing stretches?
It stretches and absorbs on head shakes. I mean, there's no doubt.
Especially Coho and stuff up on the surface, it makes a difference.
There you go.
What's neat is you're doing a little Pepsi challenge today with these, you know? I mean, kind of. They're working good.
All right, that's been his pit for a couple of years now. Oh, there we go.
All right. Here we go.
Ah, this feels a little better. Better from the start anyway. Are you? Okay. Come on. There you go, Scott.
Bring her on in, buddy.
Wild fish. That's why it has little shoulders.
This might be a decent fish. I'll get mine in so you can.
I make my living catching fish, not only as a tournament angler, but as a guide as well. Catching fish is important, and Gamakatsu hooks for me, you know, they kind of help take the luck out of fishing a little bit just because they're a high quality hook. Obviously have a really good reputation for being very strong and very sharp. Gamakatsu, I use their products every day in the boat and, you know, big part of my success.
All Defiance boats are built without any structural wood materials. That is why all boats are backed with a lifetime warranty. All Defiance boats come standard with large fish boxes that are fully insulated so that you can ice your fish properly all day. All Defiance boats are foam flotation filled and unsinkable for the ultimate in safety while fishing offshore. Before you buy any boat, stop by or call Defiance Boats today to ensure you are getting the very best glass boat your money can buy.
If you're looking for the best fishing rods in the world, you really do need to take a look at the Edge rods. I designed and built new machinery, and I think this new machinery has enabled us to build blanks like no other company can build without this equipment. There is no other rods in the world that are as good as these rods. You owe it to yourself to take a good look at them.
New days, new beginnings, new friends, new loves, new dreams, new goals, new scenery, new job. No matter what the next chapter holds, Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate will be there to help you find the new that's right for your lifestyle at any stage of your life. Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. Expect better.
All right, welcome back to the program. I want to introduce our next guest up today, Dr. Donny Martorello with WDFW, actually chief scientist for the wildlife program at WDFW. Dr. Donny, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So some articles have been published as of late and some announcements from WDFW. And it looks like we have CWD here in Washington State. Now, it's been around for a few decades. Let's start with some history here. What kind of disease is this and which animals does it actually affect?
Good question. So this will be a little bit of a mouthful. It's CWD is a transmissible spongiform encephalopathy disease. That's a lot, like I said. It's a abnormal folding of the prion proteins, usually in the central nervous system or the lymphatic system, and it occurs in cervids, which is the deer family. So deer, elk, and moose in Washington are the critters that we're talking about.
Gotcha.
And as you mentioned, it's been around for decades. Early in the 60s, detected in mule deer, wild mule deer in Colorado, and it's kind of radiated out from there and kind of moving closer and closer to Washington over the years.
Donny, the past 3 years, WFW has had a voluntary reporting program, where hunters can, hey, here's my deer that I've harvested. You can check it, determine if it does have CWD present. Has that voluntary program, I always get concerned when things are voluntary because that usually means that a lot of people don't do it.
Sure.
But has that program been successful? Have you gotten any data points from that?
We have gotten data points, but I think your intuition is correct. It is a volunteer program, and we haven't met the goal the objective that we had for that program. The objective was to detect it as early as possible, and we set up, through an analysis, a program where we wanted to have a 95% confidence of detecting the disease at a 1% prevalence. So very, very early. We've been lower than that. We haven't met that objective. That said, I still think that we've probably on the early side of this detection, but this just reinforces how important that point you just brought up is about sample acquisition is our tool to measure the distribution of this disease and the prevalence on the landscape.
Yeah, makes sense. Sounds like, and obviously you and I spoke about this, and you've had one reported case, white-tailed doe, and along the border of Idaho there. And so now looking at this geographically, and as the plan is put into motion here, are we talking about a number of GMUs along that Idaho border that are impacted by this now?
Yes, on the Idaho side, I think there are a couple GMUs. I don't know off memory what they are, but we have one detection now. Our sampling scheme that we've been talking about, our surveillance, the pre-detection surveillance, has been along all of those GMUs that are adjacent to Idaho.
Sure.
So, Dr. Martorello, now that we've got this case, right, with this white-tailed doe along those border GMUs, it sounds like WFW was really, they were kind of prepared that someday, this could be a possibility, and have been they've had a plan in place. What is that plan now that there is a confirmed case, and what does the containment look like for Washington State?
Great question. So thank you for acknowledging that. Yes, we're not caught by surprise. We all hoped this day wouldn't come, but as I said earlier, almost a month ago to folks, but here we are. So we have a plan in place. We kind of know what to look at and what to put into practice, what to put into motion, and we just need to know kind of where it was and the uniqueness of it. So I'm going to rattle through a couple emergency rules that we just put into place in the last couple days, and a couple of these will take effect on September 1 when we kick off this year's hunting season. So I'll talk a little bit about geographic scale and then what the thing is. And so in the first detection was in GMU 124. So we've identified the area around that. So GMUs 124, 127, and 130. It's now unlawful to bait for deer, elk, or moose for the purpose of baiting and drawing those animals in. It's also unlawful to use any natural or synthetic urine scents or scents derived from glands, those kinds of things, in those same 3 GMUs. Also in those same 3 GMUs, whether it's a hunter or a person that does the salvage permit process for deer or elk, they are required to submit the whole head with the 3 inches of the neck, or extract the lymph nodes that are in the base of the skull themselves, and deliver that and get that to the Department of Fish and Wildlife within 3 days of harvesting or salvaging an animal. And then the next one is at a different geographic scale. So the next one is a transportation restriction, and this, you all recognize this. You've seen this put in place in other states, other jurisdictions, where deer, elk, and moose carcasses or parts that derive from any 100 series GMU that requires a state hunting license to take have to stay within that 100 series GMU. And then and so if it comes from the 100 series GMUs, it's got to stay in the 100 series GMUs.
Gotcha.
And there are some exceptions, though. These are really important. I think your audience will want to hear these.
Okay.
So except for meat that's been deboned out of state or in those 100 series GMUs, and is either comes into the state or leaves that 100 series GMUs as boned out meat. It also excludes skulls and antlers. If it has velvet, the velvet has to be removed, or antlers attached to the skull plate, or upper canine teeth, the whistlers or the ivories in elk, but all of the soft tissue needs to be removed from those parts. It also excludes hides or capes without the head attached, so just the cleaned cape, any finished taxidermy mounts, and then the last one, more for laboratory kind of folks, tissue imported by a diagnostic laboratory or research facility, that sort of thing.
Wow.
So those are the emergency rules that are put into place. A couple other parts around that. It's also unlawful if somebody is the importer or receiving an animal, and they find out, and they're coming from a different jurisdiction, or one of those 100 series GMUs, that if they find out that animal is tested positive for CWD, they have 24 hours to contact the department and let us know.
Gotcha.
And then the last piece, I know this is a lot, bear with me. The last piece is that's in place. It's an emergency rule. That's in place for 120 days. We'll likely extend that for another 120 days. And our intent is to take that to the Fish and Wildlife Commission, or versions of those rules to the Fish and Wildlife Commission for consideration and permanent rulemaking by that body.
Gotcha. Yes, that was a ton. We're running a little bit over, no big deal. We're going to keep you here. We're going to jump out for a quick break. When we come back, we got a few more questions for you before we wrap this up, because this is very important and useful information that we're trying to get out to everybody. So don't go anywhere. Jumping out for a quick break. We'll be back with Dr. Donny after the break right here, Fish Out Northwest.
A Northwest favorite for almost 40 years, Arima boats are manufactured with pride in Bremerton, Washington. All Arima boats are built without any structural wood materials. That is why Arima boats are backed with a lifetime warranty. Arima can offer every boat with Honda outboard packages so that you can take advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. Call or stop by Arima Boats today and let them help you get into your very next boat.
Yep, for sure. Oh yeah, big fish. Yeah, buddy. Nice fish. Oh, beauty. Gorgeous fish.
Bobby's on the board.
We got a good one.
Oh, yeah. Whoa. No, geez, come on.
Nice fish. Nice fish.
Support from Northwest Sportsmen make Federal Ammunition the world's leading ammunition manufacturer. Federal uses the industry's finest materials, giving you reliable ammunition that delivers superb accuracy and optimum performance. Northwest hunters rely on Sportco to provide the best selection and prices in the Northwest since 1985. Sportco and Outdoor Emporium in Fife and Seattle. Your journey begins here.
All right, welcome back here to the program with Dr. Donny Martorello and Chief Scientist, Wildlife Program, WDFW. Donny, before the break, we're kind of talking about, quite a bit of information as it relates to chronic wasting disease. Don't know if we've pointed that out to folks trying to figure out what CWD is. So chronic wasting disease. Once it's been detected in an area, has there been any success in other states, regions, to get rid of it? Any way to eradicate it, or once it's here, it's here? And that's why it's so vital that we kind of quarantine certain areas as much as possible.
Yeah, good question. Eradication is very unlikely. One other state has tried that in the east, and but at all practical purposes, most of the states, once it's there for good. And so our goal at this point is to contain it so that it doesn't spread throughout Washington or other areas of Washington.
Now, Donny, I've had some discussions with law enforcement over on the Idaho side and talked a little bit about CWD over there. I thought I heard me, and I want you to kind of clarify. This is CWD is something that can be stored in the ground itself and be present in the foliage in a given area. Is that accurate?
It is. This disease is transferable in terms of amongst animals, amongst the not human assisted. It can be transferred from nose to nose, saliva and all those kinds of things. But diseased animals are also shedding these prions, particularly late in the disease before it's all the animals that have it, it's fatal. And when it's a very long-lived, these prions can exist on the landscape for a very long time. So it can also be picked up from just areas that the prions have been shed by infected animals.
Now, for somebody that's not familiar with what behavior a deer that has CWD symptoms, maybe let's describe that. But I'm also curious, from the time that a deer contracts CWD to the point where they become terminal and die, what does that time frame look like? And maybe tell folks what to look for.
It could be that time frame. It can be a couple months to 2 to 3 years.
Oh, wow.
And unfortunately, to make matters even more challenging, that most of the time it's not detectable clinically by looking at the animal until the very last phases and when the animal's close to death. And then what you see is they tend to be more emaciated or thin. There's some other telltale signs that go along with it to look for, things like droopy ears, a wide stance, an odd gait, drooling, those kinds of things. And if they don't really have the ability to leave human disturbance or not really mobile, those are the candidate ones. We are getting calls about, deer that just look emaciated, and that by itself really isn't enough. You've got to piece the other symptoms together. And again, that's only in the last few phases of it. Most of the time, it's not detectable.
Gotcha. So much information to cover, never enough time. But before we get out of here real quick, do you have statistics that show the annual average participation of hunters purchasing tags or draws in that general area of the 100 GMUs, and what the harvest rates or how many animals are actually getting taken from that particular region of our state?
You bet. And I'll rattle this off real fast. So in those 3 GMUs, 124, 127, 130, about 5,000, I'll be specific here, 5,438 deer hunters, plus or minus 85. These are estimates.
Okay.
About 1,975 elk hunters, plus or minus 55. Those folks, just in the general season of those 3 GMUs, the total harvest of deer, elk, and moose is about 1,700 total, with about 1,400 of those being deer, another 240 being elk, and a handful, 25 moose. And again, those are estimates. And just real quick to let folks know, when you look up those things in the harvest stats, they might be slightly different because they're estimates, and we recalculated them for this area specifically.
Gotcha. Well, that's a lot of harvest taking place and a lot of testing for DFW to keep track of moving forward.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time this evening. Great information. We can delve into this another time and really clean it up here and get into even more details specific to this. So I want to thank you for your time, Dr. Donny Martorello, Chief Scientist, Wildlife Program, WDFW, and we'll do this again. Have a great evening.
Thank you. You too.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
All right, there you go. CWD, nothing to mess around with, and we got to take it serious here in Washington State. Jumping out for a quick break. We come back, we're going to wrap up the show. Defiance Marine is the one-stop shop for the Pacific Northwest angler. Defiance Marine guarantees the best price on a new and best service on a repower for your current boat. Defiance Marine is a Honda Premier dealership and one of the largest on the West Coast. Defiance Marine is a boat dealer who proudly sells Defiance, Allied, and Arima boats. All boats are built by West Coast fishermen for West Coast fishermen. Defiance Marine has all your boating needs to help you get out on the water.
If you're looking for the best fishing rods in the world, you really do need to take a look at the Edge rods. I designed and built new machinery, and I think this new machinery has enabled us to build blanks like no other company can build without this equipment. There is no other rods in the world that are as good as these rods. You owe it to yourself to take a good look at them.
For more than 90 years, you've entrusted one brand to guide you towards living the lifestyle you've always dreamed of. Now you can entrust affiliated Better Homes and Gardens real estate professionals to interpret your needs and help you find the home in which to live your dreams through every stage of your home buying or selling process. And through every stage of your life, there's Better Homes and Gardens real estate. Expect better.
All right, welcome back to the program here as we wind it down. Tommy, quick reminder for folks, if you're interested in or Fish Grays Harbor, the salmon management plan is open for review and public input through September 15th. A little announcement came out. If you participate in those fisheries and care about the future management plan, please take time to voice your concerns. There seems to be a lot of conversation generated right now about the tribal and non-tribal commercial netting schedules and how they're going to affect the recreational opportunity and the impacts on that. So don't sit idle on this. Get online. Simply Google Grays Harbor Basin Salmon Management Policy. You can put the number in if you want, C3621, and you're going to have a voice. It's going to do it for us this week. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. Get out and get something done. We'll see you next time right here, Fish on Northwest.